Here we go. Hi, I'm Rhea. I'm 27. I don't date. I get haggled by family members all the time. Oh, Rhea, still no boyfriend? Rhea, still not dating anybody? You know, what's going on? And then on the other side of the coin, I get haggled by friends too. Oh, Rhea, you know, I still have that friend that I could hook you up with if you want me to. Like, no. Just no. And they always say the same things too. They're like, Rhea, you should try dating apps. You should get on a dating app. I met my boyfriend through a dating app. Maybe you'll find somebody through a dating app too. And for forever, I've just been totally against using dating apps, and I think I was right, but I digress. I've been against using dating apps. I've never used them, but I decided to give it a try because I'll try anything once, and also so that my friends could stop suggesting this to me now. But anyways, let me stop being a negative Nancy. Over the past month, November, I've used 3 different dating apps. I used Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge consecutively over the past month, and I'm here to give my review and overall rating of each app. I went into it as open-minded as I possibly could, like despite me right now. I really did try, like I tried. I went into it thinking, okay, maybe I'll go into this and even set up a date on one of these apps. Like, let's see how far we go. We didn't get that far. But anyhow, I want to start speaking on things that I've noticed in general throughout all of these apps, and then I'm going to do a deep dive into every single app that I try. I have so many notes. Over the past month, I've just been taking notes about things that I've been observing, and I have so much to say, and I don't even know where to start with this. So let's just start, right? Let's just start. I should also say an ad in this video. I didn't pay for any of these apps. I strictly used the trial version or the free versions that I was given, and like nothing else. Like, I'm not that invested, I'm sorry. So a couple things that I've noticed across the board on all 3 dating apps I've tried. Again, Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. First things first, the holding fish in a picture stereotype is real. They really do it. Like, these guys are really like just holding up a fish in a picture. And it's kind of like, what am I supposed to do with this information? But like, cool fish, like, good job. Okay. People post photos of themselves in group settings, and every single last photo would be that person in a group setting. And obviously on a dating app, you're basically meeting strangers. So I don't know who I'm supposed to be looking at in the group photo. And it's every single dating app. I've noticed this on Tinder, on Hinge, and Bumble. These guys post photos of them like at a party or something like that, and there's like 5 other people in the picture, and I'm like, okay, which one is you? Even some of those photos, there's been like maybe 1 independent photo, so I have to really study and analyze that 1 independent photo and then scroll back up and try to find your face, which I'm not familiar with, in like a group of like 10 other guys. And sometimes in those photos, like that person isn't even the center person in the photo, they're like the one in the back, and I'm like, why would you post this? Like, why would I don't know the logic. I don't understand that. They also like to post photos of themselves with other women. Like, isn't that what you're like not supposed to do? Like, I don't know who this woman is to you. I don't know if this is your cousin or your sister or your ex. Like, why are you posting pictures with you and other women on your dating profile? Like, that is, it just gives me the ick like instantly. Like, I don't know who this is. So beyond the photos, usually on these dating apps, there's like little prompts that you can write about yourself. It'll ask you a question and you answer it with your own personality trait or answer. I've seen some red flags like right off the bat with some of these answers. Like, some people on their profile, they're obviously like intoxicated or high in photos. Like, their eyes are super red and they're like this, and they're obviously baked in the photo. Like, why would you put that there? But in the prompts, I've seen some people like listing off demands, like things that they expect from their women, or like crazy shit. Excuse my language, but like how much more of a red flag do you need to be to already be saying, I need my woman to look like this, and I need her to cook for me and clean for me and be there for me every moment of the day. Whenever I text you, you should answer me in 2.5 seconds and call me by this name. And what the I need to watch my language. But like, what the like, I'm sorry, but what? Okay. And I've also seen some really depressing bios. People are posting things like, well, I guess I'll just be here. Like, I guess I'll do this. Like, what other hope is there for me? And I'm like, oh my God, like, can we be a little positive? Like, I don't want to be here either, dude, but like, I'm not gonna put that on my profile. Like, come on. And then some of the prompts too will ask questions like, name something interesting about yourself. And I've noticed a lot of people just are not interesting. Like, it's the same cliche answers to a lot of these prompts. Like, let's debate. Does pineapple go on pizza? Like, oh, I haven't heard that one before. Or it's like, how do you feel about mint chocolate? Does it give you toothpaste vibes? And I'm like, where's this conversation gonna go, like, after I answer this question? Like, and a lot of people, I guess this is just our generation too, but everybody is putting up like quotes from SpongeBob. I don't know what's up with that. I can't tell you how many profiles I've seen that said I'm ugly and I'm proud. Like, it's just not original. It's not unique. It's just like, okay, the first time I saw it, maybe I giggled. I was like, oh, I got the reference. But then like I saw it on 5 other profiles and I'm like, okay, it's not really that original at all. It's really corny. Another thing, why does everyone on these apps like to go hiking? Why? Everybody is on like a mountaintop in like hiking boots and like a big backpack on. They're like looking for someone I can hike with. And I'm like, why are we all hiking? Like, what? When do I have time to hike? And then like you see the area of like where they live and it's like New York. I'm like, where in New York City are y'all hiking at? Like, please be for real. Like, what's happening? But anyhow, those are just some general things that I noticed across the board. I'm gonna start getting into the deep dive. I'm gonna start with my lowest scoring app, which is Tinder. So before I even start talking about Tinder, I just want to say every single one of my profiles was laid out the exact same. I chose the exact same images on all 3 profiles and I did not put any thirst traps in any of my pictures. I put pictures of myself with dramatic makeup, pictures of myself with everyday makeup and like different outfits, but like no bikini shots, no me on the beach, no sunbathing, no none of that. I just didn't do it. That's not really how I want to present myself. So like, yeah, no thirst traps, which is a problem on Tinder because what I noticed right off the bat, something that I wrote down, is Tinder is a very look-oriented app. What do I mean by that? I mean, it lacks personal touches. Basically, the point of Tinder is to swipe right? You hear that all the time. Oh, I'm swiping on my Tinder matches. And it's because it's literally like a first glance thing. Basically, based on what you look like in your photos is going to determine whether or not somebody decides to, I guess, swipe right on you. I don't know the terminology. I'm sorry, I don't use these I just don't use this. But yeah, if somebody actually wants to get to know you, they do it based on your photos, and I just didn't like that. The entire app to me just felt cold, and me being somebody who's a demiromantic, I don't really go for people based off of their appearances, so this was like a major turnoff to me. People are probably like, oh, everybody likes the way people look, you know, people are attracted to looks. Like, okay, sure, but that's not the determining factor for me dating somebody. Like, I really don't care what you look like. I just don't care. And I think a lot of people who are like me, who have recently lost a lot of weight, can understand where I'm coming from when I say people treat you differently based on the way that you look. I don't like that feeling, and I personally just don't care about how people look. So like Tinder it wasn't for me. I just didn't enjoy myself. Like, I didn't use it. Like, I just didn't use it. One other thing I really did not like about Tinder was the notifications that I got in my notification bar on my phone. They were like threatening me when they noticed I wasn't opening the app, that they were going to hide my account and like weird shit like that. Like, that didn't make me want to use the app. Like, I don't care if you guys hide my account. Like, wow, whoop-de-doo, like somebody's not gonna swipe right on me. Okay, like I didn't care to use the app, but I really didn't appreciate those pop-ups for me to get me to try to use the app. It didn't make me want to use it. So out of 5 stars, I actually rated Tinder a 1.5 out of 5. Moving on. Bumble. I'm gonna start with the pros of Bumble because like literally Tinder had no pros for me, but Bumble actually had some pros for me. So let's start with the list. First of all, I really appreciated the diverse options that I got when I was building my profile. It was amazing. Bumble had by far the best options to choose from when I was making an account. The ethnicity options were insane. I was so happy with the ethnicity options. They actually had more than one ethnicity option for Black people. I loved that. There was actually a Black Caribbean option on Bumble. Like, how cool is that? Black people are global. We're not just from one place, and we have so many cultures and ethnicities in our own, I guess, bubble of a race. And it would be nice to see somebody else who potentially could understand like my upbringing when I read their profile and see like Black Caribbean. I'd be like, oh, that's cool. Like, what country is your family from? And it's also a great icebreaker for conversation. So I really appreciated that. They also had zodiac signs, which I found really cool too. I know this generation is really into like, you know, I also appreciated that there was a separate mode for finding friends in your area. Like, that's pretty cool. So if you move somewhere new and you're looking for friends, you can actually choose that option and like make friends with people who have common interests with you. So I found that really, really cool. I also appreciated the wide range of interest options. Like, they actually had like interested in karaoke or like other things other than hiking. They actually had cosplay as an option. They even had video making and content creating as options, and I thought that was so cool. Like, very, very cool. I also like that women make the first move on Bumble, but that is actually kind of a pro and a con, and I'm gonna go into that later. But I like that women were the ones to send messages out to men and not the opposite, because your inbox can quickly become filled with nonsense, and it's nice to be able to filter it out to your comfort level. But again, I'm gonna get into why that was also a con. Lastly, in my pros list, I really appreciated the personality prompts that Bumble provided. They were really funny prompts, and they were also prompts that really made you have to sit down and think to answer. And it wasn't just like stupid little things or like caption this like kind of prompts. Like, it was actual prompts on Bumble, and I really appreciated that. It helped me get to know the person that I was looking at rather than just trying to guess what kind of person they were based on the 5 pictures they got to choose. Okay, so moving on from the pros, I'm gonna get into the cons. Cons of this app were that matches expire in 24 hours if you don't get a response from the person that you reached out to. I didn't really like that because, I mean, while it does keep your inbox fresh, it also doesn't really give a person a chance to answer. Somebody like me who's not glued to their phones, and especially not glued to a dating app, I'm probably not gonna see the message straight away. So there were a few people that I found their profiles to be really interesting and I reached out, but maybe they just weren't online for those 24 hours, or they weren't really looking, or they didn't have their notifications on. I don't know what, you know, is happening in their lives, but I think 24 hours is not enough time to be able to see a message and respond to a message. I really didn't like that. It sucked because there were actually some people who seemed really cool, and I would have loved to like ask them questions about things that I saw in their profile and hear their answers, but a lot of people didn't get a chance to respond back to me. I mean, maybe they did see my message and they just did not want to answer. Like, I don't know, but like, I don't really know that because yeah, 24 hours for somebody like me who's a working person, most likely, more than likely not going to see your message. So that sucks. I also hated the fact that even though I switched my location, Bumble was still showing me local dating options, and I don't necessarily like my local dating options. I live in the suburbs, and a lot of the people here are very conservative and not really my type. Probably never dated a Black woman in their life, and I don't necessarily want to be the first Black woman they've ever dated. So like, my local dating options are very not diverse, if you catch my drift. So I really wanted to change my location to more of like the inner city rather than the suburbs, but Bumble still kept showing me like my local surroundings, which again are not diverse, not open, and will more than likely not respond to any of the messages that I send because I'm Black. Like, it's just the truth. Also, my last con, the free trial version version that I received, I didn't receive the entire thing, so I really didn't get to do Bumble for as long as I wanted to, which really upset me. Yeah, I just didn't get my free trial, and I don't know why. I was supposed to get at least like a week or something of free matches or whatever the case was, but yeah, I didn't get that. So all in all, I gave Bumble 3 stars out of 5. I think it has the potential to be a really interesting dating app. I love the options, the diverse options that I was given making my profile, but it still lacked a couple of things that I think they can brush up on, but it has potential. Like, if I was interested in buying the app, like buying the service, I think I could see myself using it, but yeah, there was just something that was missing from it. Finally, moving on to the last app that I used, which was Hinge. And I must say, of all the apps, this was by far my favorite. Best app layout, I wrote that in caps. Best app layout. Clear profiles that were made easy to read through, but also in depth. It even had options that mentioned if people were vaccinated or not, which I found absolutely insane. That is how in depth these profiles actually were. I loved it. I loved how big and clear the photos were, and you could add little captions to your photos, and it was just really cute. The personal touches are things that I like because I don't go into a dating app looking strictly at the person for their looks. I go in for their personality as well. I want to know who I'm talking to, basically. The personality prompts on this app were the best by far. You could create polls on Hinge, you could make quizzes, you could do all types of cool things that led to really cool interactions and really funny responses in your DMs. It wasn't just a bunch of garbage, it was people actually responding to the prompts that you put up on your profile. I made a bunch of quizzes on there asking people like what they prefer, sweet or spicy foods. I asked them if they followed comic books, if they liked DC or Marvel comics, and people actually responded, and because of that it created like really cool conversation in my DMs. Not all of them were like amazing conversations. I mean, while they started out pretty good, they basically ended up nowhere. Like, I remember there was this one guy that I was talking to at one point. He saw on my profile that I said that I like listening to music from other countries. He asked me if I was interested in like artists from Russia, and I named this one artist in particular. I was like, oh, you know, I've actually just started listening to this artist. And he goes, oh yeah, you seem like the type of person who would listen to that like hookah lounge music. You seem like that kind of girl. What does that mean? I seem like a hookah lounge type of girl from the pictures that I put up on my profile? Like, okay. And then there was another guy who jumped into my DMs and he was like, I'm your husband from the future. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, okay. But it made for conversation, and that's really difficult when you're meeting somebody for the first time. You want really solid icebreakers, and a lot of these apps didn't provide that, but Hinge did, so I really did appreciate that. There was also a voice option on Hinge, which I found really, really cool. Usually when you look at a picture of somebody, you don't know what they sound like, right? But having that kind of extra layer of knowing somebody, listening to a stranger was pretty cool. But not everybody used it the way it was supposed to be used. Yeah, some people got really silly with that option. Some people also weren't using the prompts like as they were supposed to. I mean, obviously they were probably trying to be humorous too, but on top of like the voice option, there was also people like using the prompts to say crazy stuff. Like, I mean, so it was like hit or miss with it. Some people used it to be humorous, which I found was funny too, but it was just another option on Hinge that the other 2 apps didn't give, and I found that to be really cool too. The DMing section by far was my absolute favorite. I loved just the layout of it. The entire app is laid out really, really clean, and I just like the look of it. But the DMing section was very organized, and it didn't expire after time. The only way you could actually speak with somebody everybody obviously is if you both matched. So if somebody was interested in me, I would get a notification that somebody was interested. I could look through their profile and then I could decide if I wanted to respond or not. And if I did respond, then they would move into my DM, like my inbox, and we could start and continue our conversation from there. I really did like the way that it was laid out, that there was a section for potential people and a section for conversations that I was having, so things didn't get too cluttered, and I really did like that. I also appreciated that over Bumble, because Bumble, it was basically, since I was making the first move, every single person that I had DM'd was like stacking in my inbox, and it was becoming kind of cluttered with people who like ultimately never responded versus people who did, and there was no separation of the two. So I really appreciated that there was a separate section for that. Their location service also worked on Hinge, and there was even an international section. So if you're somebody like me who likes to travel, or you're moving to a completely different country, you can actually find listings of people in the country that you're going to travel to or the country that you've just moved to, and they actually stay in that range. So also for me, since I told you guys before, I live in the suburbs, I moved my pin to more inner city, and I was getting more inner city options. So more people in Queens and Brooklyn instead of here on Long Island. So those were my main pros that I listed here. I really did enjoy using Hinge. There was only one con that I have here, and the con was that the trial version of this app hides potential conversations. It's really annoying because, I mean, ultimately you can see the conversations, but you have to scroll through like 50 other people who also wanted to speak to you before you're able to just jump to that person who you were interested in the first place. And that can be really annoying when you don't want to see the nonsense and the junk that people left for you. Like, some of the responses that I got were very interesting. Some of the responses to my pictures were just like, what? Like, okay, obviously that conversation isn't gonna go anywhere, so I'd prefer to just kind of not have to see it. But if you're using the trial version like I was and you didn't pay for the service, then you have to go through every single last one of those like stupid junky DMs and comments before you could actually get to a nice conversation. That was really annoying. All in all, I rated Hinge a 4 out of 5 stars. This was the best app by far to me, and if I was really interested in using dating apps, this would most likely be the one that I went out of my way to purchase. This has been an interesting experience for me, but all in all, I'm still kind of hoping to meet somebody more generically, because even though these apps try their hardest to give you options to make it seem more personal, at the end of the day, I still feel like a lot of it is really superficial. I don't know what it is. I don't like to be one of those people who's like, oh, you know, this generation is just not for me. But that's what I feel like a lot of the times. Like, I just feel like really out of touch with the way people meet one another. I just don't like going on these apps expecting to find a date. I kind of like it to happen more naturally. Like, that's always just been the way I prefer to date if I date people, which I don't date, but that would be my ideal way. I don't like this kind of like manufactured dating scene, and it's just so easy to get caught up and swept up when you have so many options. Like, if somebody doesn't respond to you straight away, they can just swipe and go to the next person who might respond in 2 seconds, and it's just like, I don't really see how that could be healthy. But I'm not gonna knock it, because I have a lot of friends and even some family members who have found people on social media apps, and you know, they're dating or they're even engaged or even about to get married. So some things work for some people. I just don't think that this style of dating works for me, but I've tried it, and yeah, I was as open-minded as I possibly could. Would I try this again? Maybe. Like, maybe I'll try it in a different country and see how it works out. Maybe the dating scene here just isn't the dating scene for me, and maybe somewhere else is a better dating scene. Maybe the whole world is like this. I don't know. Like, you never know. So out of all these apps, I think I'll probably keep Hinge on my phone and maybe try it out when I go somewhere, like travel somewhere in the future. And if so, I'll keep you guys posted and updated, and I'll let you know how that goes for me. But otherwise, I don't think I'll see myself using these dating apps anytime soon. So Anyways, if you found this interesting, thank you so much for watching this far. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'm so interested in doing more of these types of videos, just trying new things for the first time. And I especially want to do it more into 2023, just trying things that I never thought I would ever try. So if that's something that interests you and you want to see me try something, you can leave it in the comments below and maybe I'll give it a shot. Like, who knows? I'll try anything once. Like, honestly, I'm not as negative as I seem, I promise. This is just something that has been like so annoying to me, and like I finally did it, y'all, so leave me alone. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.